What's going on, guys? You found your home for LSU Recruiting HQ, where all your stuff LSU athletics is found right here. Make sure, if you haven't already, man, subscribe to the channel. And if you like the video, make sure you like and leave a comment. And thank you guys for watching. All right, guys, man, today is October 23rd, 2022. LSU gets a major, huge win for the Brian Kelly era as they take down Ole Miss, the number 7 team in the country, 45-20 in Tiger Stadium yesterday. And man, this was an amazing game. LSU does their thing where they start off slow. They give them a 17-3 head start, and then from that point on, it was just pure domination from the Tigers. Um, for for three and a half quarters, LSU dominated this football game. Ole Miss went down the field, scored a touchdown their first two possessions, kicked a field goal on the third, and then after that, LSU held them to 3 points while they went ahead and scored 42 points to get that final score of 45-20. What a huge win. This game necessarily isn't about LSU beating a top 10 team. LSU beating Ole Miss. This win is just about LSU in general, man. And what are we seeing from this team right now? You have got to love what you're seeing every week. It feels like they take another step forward in the right direction every week. Things look cleaner. Problems that were problems are now being solved. And just the team looks like they have a lot more trust and feel for each other, especially on offense, man. I don't know what happened from the Tennessee week to the Florida week with the offense and Jane Daniels and the receivers. But whatever that happens, please keep doing it. Keep that same energy, because from the Florida game and the Ole Miss game, Jane Daniels has been one of the best quarterbacks in the country, not the SEC, the country, the last 2 weeks. 5 total touchdowns again yesterday. Throwing the ball down the field, trusting your receivers to make plays. That's what we've been begging him to do all season, and he's finally doing it, and he's finally paying dividends for it. The box score from yesterday, uh, Jaden Daniels finished. Let's see where this thing's at. Jaden Daniels was 21 of 28 for 248, 2 touchdowns. He got sacked 4 times. All right, but he also added in 121 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Like I said, another great performance. At one point in the first quarter, when LSU was getting back into the game before halftime, he completed 10 straight balls. Um, just, I mean, the poise of this team, we've seen it now pretty much every week. Um, you know what you're getting in the first quarter, right? This team has shown what they are. All right, they're a slow starting football team. Um, but once the horse race hits the last turn and it's time to come down the final stretch, man, they're going 100 miles an hour. And if you're not ready for it, like Ole Miss was, you can get put on your back pretty quickly. Because things took a turn for the worse for Ole Miss right after halftime. You get the ball. Thank God, we win the toss. We defer again. Magically go down and give up 7, right? Who cares? They can have their 7. We get the ball to start off the half down 20-17. You go right down the field, score a touchdown, and LSU never looked back from there. Ole Miss didn't score a single point in the second half. Now let me say this again. Ole Miss's offense, this high-powered offense averaging over 40 points a game, did not score a single point in the second half. Now, if you saw the tweets about Lane Kiffin and the press conference he had, he basically said LSU started putting number 40 on the field. We thought they were going to do it eventually, and he pretty much just wrecked our game plan. And that is a testament to how good Harold Perkins Jr. is as an 18-year-old freshman coming in and having an SEC West coach pretty much saying in the press conference that this kid wrecked our whole day, which is, I mean, obviously one person doesn't do that, but him being on the field is a absolute must. I understand the position changes and how all that stuff works out, and you literally have to take a first round draft pick in BJ Ojolari off the field to get him on the field. Um, but it's gotta happen, man. It you can't keep going. You can't you can't keep going the first quarter, and then when y'all get behind, it's like, all right, put him in. I mean, you watch him. If you watch him every single play, he's doing something good. Even when he got the 15-yard penalty, it wasn't even bad. He was just talking after he made a play, and the ref was quick to throw the flag on him. I'm not sure what was going on yesterday with all the flags on the field for both teams. It was kind of wild. Um, but yeah, man, 40 is just a absolute dog. He is gonna be a star, and seeing that number 40 at that linebacker spot obviously brings back great memories. But that kid is a stud, and that kid has to be on the field a majority of your plays. Over 80 to 85% of the plays on defense, he has to be on the field because he is that much of a difference maker. Um, and he is a star in the making. Um, but let's go back to this LSU offense. Like I said, um, you outscore a team like Ole Miss 42-3 to end the game. After being down 17-3, um, you know, you're you're talking like this team. I don't know if you've got know a lot about Ole Miss, but this team literally runs the ball better than every team in the country. And what Matt House did early on, and you could see this was the game plan going in, right? Their game plan was to stop the run. All right, and then you saw in the first two drives, Lane Kiffin had a great plan coming into the game. He let Jackson Dart sling it, and what did he do, man? He slung it, and they went right down the field 2 times. Um, but the thing with Jackson Dart is, man, that's a young guy playing in the SEC for the first time, and he started to take some hits. And once he started taking some hits, you could see that internal clock in his head started speeding up a lot quicker than he would like. And he started missing some throws, some wide open throws. He started getting sacked. The run game was almost non-existent. They kind of padded their rushing stats there at the end because they did like 4 halfback draws on the last drive with like 30 seconds left, gained like 40, 50 yards. But yeah, so I mean, I got the passing number, rushing attempts. So they rushed the ball 37 times for 3.1 yards. That's tough, man. That's a tough stat. LSU rushed for 5.2 yards per carry, and Ole Miss in this rushing attack, who was almost at 6 yards a carry coming into the game, you held them to 3.1 yards per carry, which is absolutely amazing. Matt House does it again with the halftime adjustments. You come out and you just dominated the second half. Ole Miss just didn't have an answer for anything this defense was throwing at them. The corner started locking up on the receivers. The defensive line was getting pushed. The linebackers were filling their gaps. Michael Baskerville was an absolute stud. The fact that this guy wasn't a starter for such a long time is absolutely embarrassing. Every year we have to deal with the same thing where some linebacker emerges and then all of a sudden 2-3 games into the season, Michael Baskerville is right back in there because he's your best linebacker, and it's not even close. I'm not sure why we got to keep doing this every year. But yeah, so you obviously Michael Baskerville leading tackle yesterday. But let's not hype on this game, right? Because in the end, right, there's the balance of power in the SEC. Even on your worst years, you have to beat the Mississippi schools, right? At this point in time, you should beat Auburn. Arkansas is a team that you should beat. When you play Florida, when you play Alabama, play Texas A&M, every year, you have to win these games. They mean so much more. When you play in the SEC West and you play your crosstown or your cross rival is Florida, you have to win games like this. And like I said, it's always good to know when LSU is still down that they're still beating Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Arkansas, We'll see how the Arkansas game goes. That one's in Fayetteville. It should be a great game, tough game, right after Alabama game. But man, this team has 2 weeks. Right, biggest game of the year as your SEC West standings show right now. LSU is currently at the top. Um, Ole Miss, Alabama, and LSU all control their own destiny. If they win out, they're SEC champs and they go play in the SEC championship game. So there's obviously that Alabama factor. Alabama's already lost their one game, and there's that mentality that, well, Alabama's not going to lose again. Well, what if they do? What if something like that happens? So what if LSU upset? What if Ole Miss upsets them? Ole Miss is a talented team. They could get things right again and score with Alabama. And like I said, LSU is playing their best football right now. And after a bye week, you get some guys healthy. You get some guys. We're gonna be talking about it for sure. We're gonna be breaking down that Alabama game hard. You get the Alabama game at home. It's most likely gonna be a night game. I'm not sure what more you could ask for. You have this Alabama team that's beat up right now. You have an Alabama team that is questioning a lot of things about themselves, about how dominant they are. Um, they had a big win last night against Mississippi State, pitched a shutout. Absolutely needed to get back on the right track, but you know what? Alabama's more vulnerable this year than they've been in any other year just because once Alabama's offensive line declined, right? And they started having problems protecting Bryce Young. All right, that's when Alabama, started to see that trend of we're not just beating up on people anymore. These games are a lot closer. Um, the receivers are starting to play a little bit better, but they had problems at the beginning of the season. But what I'm saying is Alabama is not this unbeatable force that we've seen from the last 10 years. Um, Granted, they are a great team. They're a hell of a football team, and they're one of the best teams in the country. There's no doubt about that. But they are vulnerable in spots, all right, and they are beatable. There's been years where you go into this football game and LSU has zero chance, no matter what the ranking is, no matter how good LSU's been, no matter how good Alabama's been. You just knew that Alabama was going to come in and dominate, and they might do that again. But that is the ultimate equalizer here, is that the brand of college football has spread out, right? You've seen Georgia ascend. You've seen teams like Clemson ascend. You've seen Texas A&M stacking up recruiting classes, LSU stacking up recruiting classes. I'm starting to feel like college football, the balance of power is starting to come down, right? It's still those teams, right? There's no doubt about it. Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State. There's still those teams right now, But you're starting to see Michigan creeping up into that picture. You're starting to see Oregon creep up in that picture. Starting to see Texas A&M. These guys that are stacking up these recruiting classes, if they can get some good coaching, right, and start winning some football games, the potential is there to be great. Same with LSU. If they can stack these recruiting classes together and get good coaching and, find some wins, they could be right in that national picture as well, just like everybody else. You're seeing Tennessee come to rise, right? Tennessee probably doesn't have the players. They have the scheme right now, but they're going to get the players because of that scheme, and it's the dangerous combination when you see that with Tennessee. And like I said, Alabama loses to Tennessee for the first time in 15 years, very similar to the LSU season, or LSU 2019 season, where LSU had the long streak and they break it. But I am looking forward to it. We are going into the bye week, the worst week of the year. We're still going to be talking about football this week, and I'm so glad LSU was able to pull this game out, sitting at 6-2 now. Man, like I say every week, man, I wish we could have that Florida State game back, guys. Man, if you're sitting 7-1 right now, LSU for sure already is going to be in the top 25 when the polls come out today. But man, it would be so much better if this game was going into a 7-1 versus 7-1. That'd be pretty cool. I just wish we could have that extra point, and we could have played in overtime, because I feel like this team was not gonna lose that game in overtime. But you can't play the what ifs, man. You lost the game. It is what it is. But like we said, man, you control your own destiny from here on out. So we'll see what LSU can do with it. LSU Alabama coming up in 2 weeks, and that's gonna be an exciting week. You guys enjoy your week, the rest of your weekend. goodness the Saints don't play today on Sunday. We already got that out the way, so we don't have to ruin none of y'all Sundays. If you're a Saints fan, I'm sorry. They suck right now. And then we'll enjoy a week off, spend some time with your family, some time with friends, watch some college football, and then we will pick it up right back next week, and we will be talking about LSU, Alabama, in a game that could decide the SEC West. It should be a great time. Make sure if you haven't already, man, if you're not following on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, do all of that, man. We're chunking out posts left and right on Instagram, on Facebook, all this stuff. Even if you like today's video, man, please like the video first of all, and drop your comment. Let me know what you think about the video. We're all about self-improvement out here. If there's things I'm doing, things that I'm not talking about that you want to hear me talk about, let me know, and we can get that on the show. Absolutely, I love to hear from you guys. And like I said, man, if you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. All it does is help us out with the algorithm when you like and comment on the posts as well. And then we'll go from there, man. And you guys have a great rest of your weekend. You guys have a great rest of the bye week, and enjoy some time off. Enjoy family, friends, whatever you got going on this week. All the fall weddings you had scheduled for this week. Hopefully you'll get them out the way for the bye week, and we'll pick it up right there with LSU and Alabama in a couple weeks. Have a good week.